Welcome back to What You Will Learn, where we read the book so you don't have to. My name is Adam Ashton.
My name is Adam Jones. Today we're extracting some of the very best learnings from one of our favourite books we've ever read in our lives, and that is The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss.
Mate, what a book.
Yeah.
This is comfortably top three. The top three for me is definitely 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and The 4-Hour Workweek. Mate, this is locked in top three.
Yeah, for me the same in the top three. Just a book of incredible questions that you never... So it's just a new way of thinking that until you read it has never crossed your mind. And just basically, for me, it's just a book on how to take control of your life and just live on your own terms, whether that be through your own businesses or money or living as an employee or whatever.
Yeah, correct. The subtitle is Escape the 9 to 5, Live Anywhere and Join the New Rich. And on the back, in big letters, warning. Do not read this book unless you want a new way of living. Mate, before I read this, I thought it was, I don't know what just maybe everyone's perception is that it's just some scammy infomercial, quit your job but it's not, man. It's not really about quitting a job until the very end. It's sort of like just making your job, if you're an employee, just making everything better. And if you've got a business, making everything shorter, easier, quicker.
Yeah.
It's basically just about fucking... What Tim Ferriss says, he says it's about 10xing your hourly output. So what would normally take you 40 hours takes you 4.
Yeah, so that's where the 4 hours comes from.
Yeah.
And probably the biggest theme of the book for me is just basically replacing the assumptions we have growing up and just questioning all these assumptions, especially the ones with the idea of working so fucking hard your whole life, 40, 50, 60-hour weeks, whether that be as an employee or a business owner, and you're working so hard for this pot of gold at the end. But this book is all about enjoying your life as you do it. And then, because this whole thing with the pot of gold at the end, the retirement savings, that's really, now more than ever, it's a bit of a farce with such low interest rates just waiting for someone else to control your future. It's not the safest option.
Yeah. So that's what it's about. It's about what he calls the new rich and about lifestyle design. So most people work for 40 years and then retire with a fuckload of money, but then they're old.
Yeah.
So it's saying that you have to either choose between enjoyment today or money in the future. But Tim says, I believe you can have both now. So the goal is fun and profit. So rather than slaving away at work doing shit you don't like and then have money later, he's saying have enough money now to do what you want to do. So he says that it's living a millionaire lifestyle without having $1 million in the bank. Because people don't want to be millionaires, really. They just want to experience what they think that only millionaires can experience.
Yeah. So it's the experience of what millions of dollars can give you, and that's not necessarily slaving away, is it? You can do that by just hanging out with better people, going to a cheaper place, traveling through India or whatever.
He says it's he goes through a lot of specific examples of dollar-wise, and it's probably just to do the things you want to do is probably a lot cheaper than most people think.
Yeah.
So let's get into the 4. So he's basically got 4 steps, I guess, is definition, elimination, automation, and liberation. So it's about eliminating things, so you've got more time. It's about automating things, so you've got consistent, regular income. And about liberating yourself away from regular tasks, so you've got mobility. So you can have the time and freedom and the money to do whatever you want, wherever you want, whenever you want.
Yep,
Let's fucking get stuck in, mate. So, definition.
Definition. So D is for definition. So caution and comparison. So as we briefly mentioned before, so money is multiplied by the W's of your life. So what you do, when you do it, where you do it, and with whom you do it.
Yeah, sick.
So it's this idea that money is relative. It's not absolute. So it's what you do with the money and how you make it is most of the value, as opposed to just slaving away. So yeah,
love it. Yeah, as you say. So what you do, obviously, you want to do things that you enjoy. When you do it, is you want to have that comfortability or the option to have the choice of when you can do it. Where you do it, obviously, if you have the choice between going into the city and working in an office all day or going and lying on a beach and doing what you want to do, that's part of it. And whom you do it with. Yeah, so that's what he called the freedom multiplier. Fucking love it.
Love it. So Second part of definition is everything popular is wrong. So this is about, as we mentioned, like replacing these assumptions. So challenging the status quo versus being stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, correct. So he goes through about how many? Fucking 8 or 10
Yep.
different things that most people think are just... that's what people just assume, that's the status quo. So he says things like retirement. So people think retirement is the goal. You work for all your life and then you get a fuckload of money and retire. But that's sort of like saying, well, you don't like what you're doing, which is why you want to stop doing it and retire. Which is like, well, why would you do that anyway? Well, when you choose something that you do like doing and you don't have to retire. So one of these things that he talks about later is having mini retirement. So say every year you take a month off. So rather than having 20 years of retirement all crammed at the end, you spread that 20 years of retirement over your working life.
Yeah. Love it. And, another one from this one is probably number 4. I don't know if you want to mention number 2 or 3, but the timing is never right. So the stars will never align. So if you're going to make the decisions to finally take the reins and live your life on your own terms, it might be renegotiating your role with your boss or leaving your job altogether. The timing's never going to be perfect. If you just wait until, I'm going to wait till the kids grow up, or I'm going to wait until I've got a bit more money, or you just always have excuses. The time always has to be now, otherwise you're never going to do anything.
Yeah, that's bang on. And that's come up in a couple of books that we've done, hasn't it?
Yeah, you just pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Just, correct as you go.
Yeah. Number 5 we'll probably get into later. Number 6 I liked. Emphasize strengths, don't fix weaknesses. That's a massive one, I reckon, in that if you can focus on the things that you're really good at, you enjoy doing and you're good at, it's going to be a lot better than trying to focus on trying to fix everything and become average at everything. It's better to become really, really good at a few things than to become average at everything.
Yeah.
So you can get other people. He says that if we focus on our strengths, we're multiplying our results. But if we're focusing on our weaknesses, we're going to have small incremental improvements in that. So it's sort of, focus on your strengths and get other people to do the rest that they're good at.
Definitely relevant. So number 9, relative income is more important than absolute income. So you got 2 people. One person is working 20 hours, so he's working 20 hours a week and earns, say, 40K compared to someone who works 80 hours a week and 80K. And the first guy, he's doing it in Colombia and living off a cheap income, whereas the second person is living in Australia and spending a lot of money. So obviously on the surface, it might look like the guy earning 80K is a lot richer, but in reality, the one on 50K has got a better lifestyle. His money gets him further.
Yeah, working less hours.
Yep.
Yeah, love it. And we should mention as well, like at the start of every chapter and every section, there's some sick quotes.
Yeah.
So we obviously won't read every single one out, but they're good quotes. Yeah, they're good quotes.
And number 10, distress is bad and eustress is good. So a huge theme of the book is this idea of comfort challenges and choosing the right things to get out of your comfort zone and like the right kinds of stress you put on yourself. Because the whole idea of it, if you want to do things or get different results than you're currently getting, the fact is like you've got to change, as sad or bad as that may seem. So the idea of comfort challenges is doing the things that get you outside your comfort zone and increase your sphere of comfort. So then you can grow into the person who might be able to do better things and then get better results. Yeah,
fucking love it, mate. In the next chapter, System Reset, I really like the bit where he said everyone thinks they want happiness, but it's sort of like it's such a broad thing. And he tried to work out, well, if people want happiness, what don't they want? And the opposite of happiness isn't sadness. It's sort of, he was saying it's boredom. So doing the things you don't like, things that aren't interesting to you. So he said what everyone should be aiming for is not happiness because it's so broad and abstract, but excitement. So excitement is better because it's sort of like doing the things you want to do, doing different things, new things that excite you. So that's what we should all be aiming for is excitement.
Definitely, man. That's it's much more easier to define and understand. Like just doing something that excites you. It's much easier than saying doing what makes you happy because you know what excites you.
Yeah,
it's simple.
What about you, mate? VR sex. that excites. Yeah, that excites you.
Get on it. So chapter 3. So again, in making the steps, so this chapter's called Dodging Bullets.
Mm-hmm.
So before you get into it, you just got to think of...
Fuck, did I skip that?
Not sure, man.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Keep going.
But you're defining like the worst case scenario. So if you're going to make this big jump or big changes in your life, what's the worst that can happen? So for a lot of people, it's actually nowhere near as bad. So the downside for Tim Ferriss, for example, what was he? He was earning $80K a month, but working 80 hours a week. He felt stuck. And then he wanted to like travel the world. So he thought, what's the worst can happen if I just leave my business and just fucking go and travel the world? And for him, the worst case scenario was like he maybe lose the business and then lose a bit of money and then he gets back. And so after defining the whole problem, the worst case scenario was about a 5 out of 10, whereas the upside and the upside potential was like a 10 out of 10. So after really getting it all down on paper and defining everything, it was pretty clear and quite easy to make the step.
Yeah, and it sounds like in that, so he had this brain quicken supplement product, and it sounds like he was a massive micromanager, control freak in the business, and when he actually just left and went overseas, the company actually started making more money because he wasn't the bottleneck to everything.
Yeah.
So he left and they started making more money.
Yeah.
So fucking perfect. Yeah.
So yeah, he started using so this is where I guess he came up with the concept of 4-hour work week, because before he left, he was doing work for what he says is work for work's sake. So he might be working 80 hours a week, but 70 of those 80 hours are just fucking ineffective and not really getting results.
Checking emails, contacting customers, contacting suppliers, just a lot of stuff that, as you say, work for work's sake, didn't need to be done. Someone else could have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll probably cover this a bit later in the book as well, but the whole idea of the 4 hours is the Pareto principle. So it's like finding the 20% of the actions that produce 80% of the outcome. So for him, he was like, as I was saying, 80 hours a week, and he sat down and asked the right questions to find out what is producing most of his results. And when he just only did those things and worked the 3 hours of the effective things, and then his business took off and he started earning money for not trading his time for it.
Mate, that's a good segue into the second phase, elimination.
Yep.
So, as you say, Pareto principle is a big part of it, and it's about being effective versus being efficient. So, being efficient means doing whatever you do, doing it well and quickly, whereas being effective is choosing the right things to do. So, it's important rather than... You can be efficient in replying to emails, but it's probably not effective in that it's not really going to give you a whole lot of results at the end of the day. So it's about being effective and choosing the right thing. So as you said, the Pareto principle, the 80-20 principle, is generally 80% of your results come from 20% of the inputs. So yeah, if you can find the 20% of things that are giving you 80% of the revenue, you can cut out 4/5 of your energy and effort and just focus on those 20% of important things.
Yeah. So yeah, for the title of the Chapter 5 is the end of time management. So it just flips everything on its head. So don't try and just be extremely productive and fit more in your day. Go the other way. Look for the things to eliminate and just only do the effective things. So then you free up the time to do the things you actually enjoy doing in your life.
Yeah, I love it. Another one of the law. He talks about Parkinson's law, which is saying that basically a task will basically take as much time as you give it. So if you've got a uni assignment that's due in 3 weeks, you probably spend 3 weeks fucking around and then do it the night before.
Yeah.
Whereas and then you say, oh man, it took me 3 weeks to do that assignment. Whereas if it was due in a day or two, it'd probably take you a day or two to do it.
Yeah.
So Parkinson's law says that like a task expands basically to fill the time that you give it.
Yeah.
So if you can set yourself deadlines, you're probably going to be more efficient. And obviously you've picked the effective things using Pareto principle. You've picked the 20% of things. Now using Parkinson's law, giving yourself deadlines and becoming efficient.
You end up with 4 hours.
That's it.
So I think that's why Tim Ferriss hated the 9 to 5, because it doesn't matter how many tasks you fit in a day or how it doesn't matter. You're still going to be spending the same hours there each week.
That's the big limitation of the 9 to 5, and that's why this is all as towards the end. It's removing yourself from the 9 to 5. Even if you like your job, it's about doing your job, mate. Fuck. But I've been in a big corporate office, and mate, the stuff that you do doesn't take 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's fucked to think that every day everything I do is going to take me exactly 8 hours.
Yeah.
Like that's just
He says one thing: if you're in a big corporate and you just like walk around the office with a fucking holding a suit bag or something, and then with a phone in your hand, looking busy, everyone will just think you're doing something important.
mate. I just honestly, man, I don't understand what
You should
people
try and
do.
do that one day.
I don't know
I've
what
worked
people
maybe
do,
1
man.
hour of the day and then just walk around the office on the phone.
Oh god, fuck me.
Yeah. So with that, defining a not to do list. So yeah, rather than having a
that's good.
to do list, have a not to do list. So find the things that you're just kind of procrastinating on, you're wasting your time, and you're just floundering around.
Yeah, nice. Mate, chapter 6, low information diet.
Yeah.
Mate, the big takeaway is practice selective ignorance in that don't worry about the things that don't matter to you.
Yeah.
Basically, the things that don't matter and the things that you can't influence. So, say recently the US election, everyone's fucking trolling on Facebook saying how bad it was that Trump's in, but mate, at the end of the day, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So I'd
You
rather
can't act on it. Just forget it.
exactly. It's
it's
mate, circle of influence, circle of concern.
Yeah.
7 Habits. That's probably one of my favourite pages.
Yeah.
ever.
So yeah, I'd agree with it. So Ashton's preluding to the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is both our number 1 book.
Yeah.
So one day we'll be
Yeah, we'll get it on.
reviewing that. But yeah.
But yeah, so if it's like, yeah, you've got a circle of things that you can influence, but we seem to be concerned about things that we can't influence. Whereas this low information diet, don't watch the news because it's all negative, you can't do anything about it,
Yeah.
and just try and ignore things that you can't influence, basically.
Probably the most beneficial thing anyone can do. Say if they spend like 2 hours a night or 1 hour a night sitting there watching the news, just eliminating
Cut it.
that
Yeah.
from your life and just
Yeah.
fucking have an exponential increase. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll challenge anyone listening out there who just loves the news. Just give it a shot for a month and see what happens.
Yeah. Cut it. Mate, the biggest thing I like for the elimination section is that most tasks or most interruptions, things that are getting in the way of your productivity, you can classify them as either time wasters, time consumers, or empowerment failures. So time wasters are things like going to meetings, having discussions with people, phone calls, surfing the web, and emailing unimportant people. So they're just time wasters. It doesn't achieve anything, and it just literally wastes time. So there's time consumers, which are repetitive tasks that they have to be done, but they're like not really that important, and they sort of get in the way of more important things. So it's things like, again, reading and responding to emails that have to be done, making and returning phone calls, things like customer service for things that are just like, he suggests here like a status of order or information about products, whereas you could easily have a web page of frequently asked questions that would do that for you. Financial reporting, running personal errands, things that you have to do, they're just not that important, so they're time consumers. And number 3, empowerment failures. So it's basically things like, maybe this is probably more important if you're a manager or a business owner, in that things like things that people could do themselves, but they come to you instead because you haven't given them the empowerment to go away and do it for themselves.
Yeah. So I think that's a good segue into chapter 8, which is outsourcing life, which is something we love doing. So rather than
so this is now we're moving into automation.
Yes. Good
Yep.
point now. So the solution to eliminating everything is just to automate the thing. So rather than spending all your time on doing these unimportant little things, just outsource all that shit.
Yeah.
So we're in that stage now in the world where the whole economy is connected. We're connected with Kenya and India, and there's a lot of people eager out there to learn new things and then enter the world economy. So these personal assistants we can get, it's a way of living a billionaire's lifestyle just for a very cheap way.
Yeah, correct. It's so the first, which is why he puts elimination first, so you get rid of the useless shit, and then the next phase is the things that have to be done, but it's probably not super important that you do them. If you can get someone else to do them and do them better than you can. So we'll use our example, Big Daniel, our man in Kenya. The things that he does for us is important stuff. He's better at doing them than we are. He does them quicker than we would do them. And, it's not our strengths.
Yeah.
So if Big Daniel can do it cheaper, quicker, better than we can.
Why the fuck would
Why would
do
we
it?
do it?
And we don't enjoy doing it.
And Daniel's a fucking legend.
Yeah. So, then you're just left with the tasks you half enjoy doing. So that's just one way of living an enjoyable life. And just doing the tasks that are probably more valuable for your time you spend.
Yeah. Mate, how many things have you outsourced?
Oh, mate, I've had a bit of fun outsourcing some shit in the past. Probably my best one was actually didn't really work out, but the idea was there with the outsourcing my dating. So Tinder.
I love it.
So I gave that to Daniel's listening. Gave my Tinder to Daniel, and he started speaking to girls on my behalf. And the idea was to get the report on every Friday. We got Joanna, Brooke, Marshalla, or whatever.
Mate, so Daniel would talk to the girls and then he'd schedule dates and tell you when and where.
Well, that was a perfect idea, didn't it? End up working out that way, and but maybe we can work on that and get a bit better. So
So it just has a big caveat here saying that before you get started. So here's a Bill Gates quote: "The first rule of any technology is that automation applied to an efficient operation will magnify the efficiency, but the automation applied to an inefficient operation will magnify the inefficiency." So that's why you eliminate all the menial, unnecessary stuff first, and then you can automate the rest, and it becomes so much more efficient.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely love it.
Have some fun. Get a VA. Get a virtual assistant. Just get them to do stuff for an hour a week.
Yeah, it's a low risk. He says it's a very low risk way to learn how to be an entrepreneur and, I guess, run people. And
good way to manage, delegate, and reprimand if
you only pay $4 an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
You can spend $20 a week and just get them to do silly things and then whatever, and you'll get better at defining the task and being able to give it to people.
And that's what he says here. He gives us some golden rules. Golden rule number 1 is make sure that every task is well defined. So you tell them exactly what to do and tell them, especially put a time limit on it. He said one thing he didn't put a time limit on that just blew out of proportion. And golden rule number 2 is have some fun with it. So get them to do fun stuff. Get them to email your mum and say, "Hi, mum," or "Hi, Mrs. Jones. This is Daniel. I'm writing on behalf of Adam. I'm going to be half an hour late for dinner tonight," or something. Or
call your mate for happy birthday.
Just get them to do cool stuff, funny stuff.
Yeah, fucking love it. So obviously the biggest part of the income autopilot. So right now it's moving into the thing. You got to stop trading your time for money. So that's one of the biggest ideas in the book. So you need to. So a lot of it is perhaps get a product, or if you work in the services industry, have a downloadable video, tutorials, or something like that. So you've got a product you can sell, and then you can scale it.
Yeah.
So scaling meaning, as it gets bigger, you're not investing more time into it.
Yeah. So he's got here 3 chapters: income autopilot 1, 2, and 3, which is about 80 pages worth of stuff here, which is all gold.
Absolute gold.
Mate, what I love about the book is it's all step by step
and actionable.
Yeah. So you can go through here, do the steps. He even tells you which websites to go to, which services you need to use, how to research, how to find products, where to source the products, everything. So he goes through step by step. It's going to, mate, it would take us an hour to talk about on its own, at least. But yeah, get the book from pages 150 to about 220. It goes through step by step of how to find products and how to, as you say, sell products without using your time so much. Yeah. And
many case studies in the book. So it's got people in pretty much every walk of life. So it just leaves you at the point you don't really have an excuse not to be able to do this. If you're a mother or you're too old or you think you're too young, really anyone can do it.
Yeah. He talks about some of his failures as well, in that where he spent a lot of money on making a product and then no one wanted to buy it. So this is important about testing it first. So it's sort of like find your market first. Test if people are going to buy it, and then spend your money in actually doing it. Yeah.
And a high-level version of this is producing some kind of architecture around the product where you remove yourself completely.
Yeah.
So if you do it right, you can get to the point where you're actually removed out of the equation. Your product's selling, you're using technology, and you're marketing in the right way. So you're just traveling in the world doing whatever the fuck you want to do, and you're getting paid each week.
Yeah. Correct.
So that's one of the goals of the book. You see,
this
is an option C we're not really presented with growing up. This is an actual thing you can do in your life, as opposed to just trading time for money forever.
Yeah, and it probably sounds like maybe if this is the first time you're hearing it, you're
Yeah,
like,
it
no,
sounds
that's
ridiculous,
fucking
wouldn't it?
bullshit.
You wouldn't believe it, would
You wouldn't believe it. But seriously, if you go through this, there's no doubt in my mind it can be done.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's probably a lot of people less smarter than you, the listener, who are doing this around the world right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it just comes down to fear. And a lot of the book is about dealing with your fear, because you're going to be scared of making these huge jumps and changes in your life, and people are going to be questioning you. But at the end of the day, you got to fucking have a crack, don't you?
Yeah. Absolutely. Mate, as I said, we could spend hours and hours just talking about that bit.
Yeah.
But let's go on to phase 4, liberation.
Yeah, no.
So this is about, especially for, again, for employees and for business owners, it's about removing yourself so you don't have to be in certain places at certain times.
Yeah.
So again, it's how, so chapter 12, the disappearing act, how to escape the office. He says, I like this quote here by Robert Frost, an American poet. By faithfully working 8 hours a day, you may eventually become the boss and get to work 12 hours a day. That's not the goal.
It's fucking...
That is not the goal.
Mate, do you want to get into fishing?
Oh, mate. We should have actually, I forgot, we should have started with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. What page is it on? Oh, you don't know.
Not sure. So this, we've got it here. So basically, the story is of this Mexican fisherman. So there's this American investment banker. So he's on his 2-week holiday, and he went to some fishing village in Mexico where he saw some dude there just sitting with his beer and a ciggy in his hand fishing. Might be adding a bit of salt and pepper. So the American commented on the quality that the Mexicans fish and how good he is at catching them. So the American said, why don't you stay out longer and catch more fish? Then after that, you can start investing your money in that. Then you can get more boats. You can get people working for you.
Yeah, but sorry, mate, just cut you off. Because the fisherman said, why would I fish more? I've caught enough fish to feed myself and my family, and now I can enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Now I can sleep in, I can go out, catch a fish, feed my family, and then I've got the rest of the day to roam the streets, drink some wine, play some guitar with my amigos, have a siesta, do whatever he wants. Yeah, sorry, mate. Continue.
Yeah, so then the investment banker's going, what the fuck? You're an idiot. So you should go out there, get more boats, get some people working for you, then in 5 years' time you can create a company, and then in 10 years' time you can then file for an IPO, and you've got this huge business in the world, and you're investing all your time into that. And then the Mexican says, all right, so how long is this going to take? And he goes, oh, yeah, it'll probably take about 20 years with it, you're a millionaire. And then goes, all right, then what am I going to do after I've sold the business in 20 years' time? He goes, yeah, well, then you can go out, hang with your amigos and play guitar and fish.
Exactly.
So
Mate, I fucking
the
love
whole idea of this story is it kind of basically just points out the falseness in our whole premise that fucking working super hard for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah.
When really, there's no fucking point going for that, because you should just enjoy what you're doing now, basically.
Yeah, correct. Mate, so our Mexican fisherman, he had everything he wanted.
Yeah.
He had enough food and enough money to support himself and his family, and he could do whatever he wanted for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Whereas this American who's gone up and gone through a traditional schooling system and education and has realised, mate, maybe you could make so much more money.
Yeah.
But then what happens? He spends 25 years slaving away, and at the end of the day, he's got a couple of mil sitting in the bank, but then he'll just go back to doing what he wanted to do anyway.
Yeah.
So it's fucked. Yeah. That's a good story. I like
Fucking
it.
ripper. Love it.
Yeah.
See, that's probably one of the main themes of the book. is just fucking go out there and enjoy what you're doing. Don't fucking buy into this idea that you have to work hard your whole life and you have to work hard for money.
Yeah.
He says you can. So this book tells you can enjoy your life, you can make money, and you can just fuck yeah.
Mate, we knew this was going to be a long episode.
Yeah.
And it deserves it. But some of the things he talks about in Liberation, he just talks about things. Again, he goes through step-by-step process. So step 1 is increasing investment. So if you can get the company to spend more educating you and train yourself up, it's going to be harder for them to let you go. If you're just an entry-level person, it doesn't matter. They can get rid of you and get someone else in. But if you've trained yourself up and they've paid to train you up, they want to keep you. Mate, we won't go through all the steps, but basically it's just about eliminating a lot of the unnecessary emails, reducing time as much as possible. If you can increase your output, and say you might say to your boss, so what he says, take 2 days of sick days in the middle of the week, and then come back to work having done more than you would have done at work. So you can show your boss, it's actually a lot better for me to work at home. I don't have all these interruptions. I don't waste 2 hours a day commuting to work. I can get so much more done, and slowly plant the seed. Maybe and then say to him, can we do a trial? 1 day a week, I'll work from home. And continue that pattern of doing more at home and doing less at work. And you can gradually, a 10 or 12 step process that builds up to you being able to work from home all the time. And then by working at home all the time, then you can fucking go to China and work from China.
Yeah.
And do whatever you want to do during the day, and just make sure you get your work done.
Yeah, fucking love it, mate. Any more to review?
Mate, it's so much more to review, but yeah. We'll leave it there.
If you're listening and you're not, if you think you're living at a 5 to 7 out of 10 in your life, buy this fucking book and you might. It's just a way of getting to the 8, 9, or 10. Just living an absolute fucking incredible life. That's the whole idea of the book. Is get away from just a mediocre life and just step into something new. And he says he's very excited for those people who hasn't made that step yet, because he says he's seen the promised land and it's fucking sick.
and you can do it.
Yeah, you can.
Mate, I didn't realise when I read it, it's actually extremely, extremely applicable for employees. Probably more so. I thought it was just for business people. But it's definitely hugely beneficial for employees, massively. Mate, who should read this?
Mate,
everyone.
Just
Everyone.
Some of the classics, just
Everyone.
fucking, just read the book.
I reckon this will still be in 100 years. People will be like, fuck yeah, what a book that was.
Yeah. Some of the techniques and the steps and the specific tools he gives you, they'll update, but the general philosophy behind it, it's just a new way of looking at shit.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, that's what we didn't mention as well. Throughout the whole thing, is at the end of every chapter, there's basically action steps, what to do.
Yeah.
And then he also gives you the tools of the websites and products and services you need to use to do it.
Yeah.
Mate, it's sick. Everyone read it.
Yeah. Dude, what's next? We figured out what we read next?
Art of Happiness, I reckon,
Yes.
by the Dalai, Mr. Lama himself.
So it's that'll be a bit of a juxtaposition between the big dog Trump and 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah, versus the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, we're just looking at him now.
What a man. He's looking down on us.
Fucking that dog, isn't he? Love him.
Love him. No, we'll get him on.
We'll
get Ferris on.
We'll get Ferris on.
Tim Ferris will be coming on soon, I reckon.
Yeah. Stay tuned for Ferris.
I love it.
All right.
Sing it.
Sing that shit. Yeah!
For a work week, Tim Ferris.
Chill with the Mexican, have a beer, have a ciggy, hook up with this dog, she's hot, dude.
Step 1, definition.
Define your fear.
Step 2, elimination. Step 3, automation.
Then disappear.
Step 4, liberation.
Liberate that shit, yeah!
Don't watch the news. Don't email those cunts.
Peter Hitch, know your cunt.
Put that income on autopilot.
Make that money, don't lose time, bitch.
Time, income, mobility, freedom! For a work week, Tim Ferris.
Motherfucking Ferris! Motherfucking Ferris wheel!